Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. I think we're going for what, 8, 9 days in a row? Trying to get caught up, get ready for Commander 18. Anyway, what I've got is I've been going through the decks that I have mostly built and trying to finish those up and get those off the desk so that I can have room to build new ones once C18 comes out. Anyway, let's look at Luzon. Yeah, I'd probably botch that. But anyway, he's got horsemanship, basically meaning he's unblockable except for the few of the EDH cards that we actually play. Anyway, but when he deals combat damage to an opponent, you draw a card. Now, this is a 1/3 for 4 mana. That's dang near unblockable. It's going to draw you a card. Yeah, he doesn't lend himself to just a huge outcrying of decks. But I read him, and I thought of that Ophidian ability or Magpie ability, if you will, the dealing combat damage and drawing cards. So naturally, that led me to the first card. I was like, well, that's kind of like the Thieving Magpie. Okay, and this is essentially the same card, pretty much. Now you're not going to win with commander damage, and to be honest with you, I'm not exactly certain how we're going to win. Just good old fashioned creature bash, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, preface, this is probably not a good deck. This is not a deck that, yes, I'll play it. I will play the hell out of this deck just because I love playing just hardcore underpowered stuff. But that's where I went. Combat damage equals drawing a card. So just about every dude that we've got, all the creatures are going to, you're going to draw cards when you hit. I mean, every single one. Thassa's Emissary. Ninja! Glad we're getting Commander Ninjutsu. Did you guys see that? That was pretty cool. Scroll Thief. Ophidian actually may be the actual first card with that ability, and you had to choose either or the damage or the card. By the way, this was the famous Mr. John Finkel, and that is why when he won the Invitational, he did the Shadow Mage Infiltrator to be able to do the damage and draw a card. That's how this whole thing started. You're right, Commando. Like I said, we're dealing damage, drawing cards, and I had to use one of the Global Series cards because y'all know it's kind of a side quest. Yes, I'm building every commander deck possible, but as a side quest, I kind of want to use as many different cards as possible. I guess maybe I'll inventory them all when I actually get done. I don't know. Getting done. That's funny. It's probably not happening anytime soon, is it? Uh, but like I said, dealing damage, drawing cards, and they're still printing these. I mean, we got Surge Mare in 19. Saboteur, Looter Il-Kor has Shadow. Now, Sturmgeist is probably one of the better ones because, it flies and it's, way bigger than the 1 or 2 power that you're going to be having on most of these guys. And of course, it's got the Magpie ability. Is that? Yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to call it. That's the Magpie ability. I don't know why. Ophidian ability sounds too weird. Just got elder. Now, this guy had to play it. Yes, it is 6 mana, but you know what? He blankets it for your team. So if your team already has it and then he has it, they deal combat damage. You're going to draw 2 cards. Yeah, and then he turns on the unblockability. Now, the cool part also about the unblockable thing is it ain't got to be your creature. You can use this to have, player 2 hit player 3 or 4 and, Myriad. I like that. I like Myriad a bunch on this specific card because, if it deals combat damage to a player, you're going to draw a card for each of those. So that's cool. And of course, the Slith Strider. Uh, Now, when it's blocked, you get to draw a card, but when it deals combat damage, it gets bigger. And it was so close, I just kind of I was like, it's close enough. Now, since we're obviously going through the blue beat Damn, that's not a whole lot of creatures. But anyway, I put in Coastal Piracy because, another version of that card. I don't have any card in here with no max hand size. I don't. I probably should because this looks like a lot of card draw. Also, the Psychosis Crawler would be amazing in this deck, but I only had one Psychosis Crawler left, and I saved it for the next deck, which I felt was a little better. Open into Wonder. Hey, here again. Let's now. Levitation's, of course, going to make them all fly so that they're, even harder to block. The Paragon is in there just for the +1 ability, as well as Sunken City. Oh, I'm messing with my focus there, ain't I? Yeah, Sunken City. I guess it's the difference in white and blue, huh? You don't have to upkeep the white one. Blue, you gotta. And then, of course, Deep Channel Mentor just flat out makes them unblockable. Now, I don't have a whole lot of ramp. I have a diamond, a lantern, and a high tide. Let's look at removal. That's right. Blue removal. We'll start with Pongify. Because the 1-mana instant destroys a creature. I don't care if they get a 3/3. I don't care. They don't have Elish Norn anymore. Okay? It's just rapid hybridization. Real close to the same thing. Now, Ovenize can totally be a removal spell. Of course, when they're swinging or blocking or whatever involved in combat, and you just make it small and it dies, which is really close to Turn to Frog. Now, Unsummon may not actually be removal, but properly placed, the tempo advantage you get, it might as well be. Now, Curse of the Swine. I had a fit when I saw Curse of the Swine because blue don't get exile X target creatures. I mean, that's amazing. I love it. And of course, Polymorphous Jest. Make their whole team frogs. I love doing this when somebody at the table is casting a Pyroclasm or something, and you can just, oh, hey! All your stuff you thought was safe is not. Now, I do have a little bit of counter magic. That may be a little of an understatement. We're going to have Annul, Memory Lapse. Memory Lapse is another one that is, I think, really underrated simply because it's a tempo thing. If you're there's so many plays in which that card needs to be played at that instant for that player to win the game. And Memory Lapse might as well be a hard counter to get rid of it forever, because at the end of this combat step or whatever I'm doing, the game's over anyway because I've done beat you. And of course, Counterspell, Cancel, Negate, Dissolve, Mana Leak, Dismiss, even running like the Envelop. Now, I'm showing you Liquefy first here because counters target spell CMC3. If it's countered, you exile it. Now, would you pay one more mana for any spell? Yeah, I probably would. The only problem is Quash does not read like an EDH card. So, I like it, and technically you do get to look at their hand and their deck. So you're not going to find any copies, obviously, because the only cards that have no limits are creatures. So let's look at what I've got for tricks now. Telepathy falls well in line with all of the counter magic. Rogue's Gloves, I felt like it was a flavor thing that I had to put in there because, it's on theme. Now, Sleep and exhaustion are real close to the same thing to buy you time. Because let's face it, our creatures are not balling, and we're going to get outclassed real quick on creatures. I'm running metal, not really a counterspell. Yeah, but you can swerve something. Submerge. You know, most of the time this card is free. That may or may not have been, should have been in the spot removal section. I don't know. But let's look at some hate here. Rebuild. Just, we don't have a lot of artifacts, so we might as well, you know. And if we don't have the rebuild, we also have, the kill switch. Oh, come on, kill switch. Focus up. Do it. There it is. Yeah. So you tap them all, and they just stay tapped forever, and they don't untap. And I mean, it's a killer on a Brea deck or whatever. Actually, it would be a killer on the next deck that I'll show y'all tomorrow. But Energy Flux requires an upkeep of 2 for every single artifact. And then there is our last card, is the enchantment version of it. It does it for enchantments. So it's a little bit of hate card. I feel like enchantment decks are going to be a lot more popular with the Esther deck coming out. I know I'm building, what, 3, 4 out of that deck? Well, she's got 3 enchantment themed, and then she's got that one Arixmethes. So, whatever. That's what I've got for this one. Like I said, this may be just a box checker. I have done Luzon. So, I'll probably end up playing it this upcoming Friday just to see how it goes. But it feels like I'm going to draw a bunch of cards and do a bunch of nothing. I don't know. I could be wrong. You stay quiet, stay over in the corner, draw a few cards here and there, and maybe let the superpowers blast it out. I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.